Guys, Jamie Carragher is back at it again. He is not good enough to be Manchester United manager. He is barely competent enough to be a Premier League manager right now. That is Spitty J talking about Ruben Amorim. Barely competent, he says. Not struggling because he doesn't have the right tools, not under pressure, not needing time. Barely competent. And this is the same Jamie Carragher who pops his head up every time Man United hit even a mini crisis just to twist the knife in a little bit deeper. So today, I'm going to keep it super simple. I want to expose how deliberately dishonest this entire argument is and why Jamie Carragher is just taking the piss. Because I see far too many United fans actually listening to what he says and using it to fit their agenda of maybe Amorim out or whatever else he's criticizing about United. He is just trying to get at us, guys, and we need to see the forest for the trees because a lot more of this media agenda is coming in the next days, weeks, and months. Let's start with Wolves. Carragher says the back five performance against Wolves was possibly one of the worst you'll see from a team this season. Jamie, you got to stop this, man. You've worked long enough in football to know that's complete nonsense. It's not a back five, it's a back three with wingbacks. Those wingbacks play like wingers, and this 3 at the back or 5 at the back system, as you call it, is way more attacking than the 4-2-3-1 that you think was getting somewhere against Newcastle. And by the way, every single manager since Sir Alex has played some version of the 4-2-3-1 or the 4-3-3. Every single one of them has ended up playing counter-attacking football, which cannot consistently win the league or win the league at all since Pep Guardiola has come into the Premier League. So let me ask you something, Jamie. If that system was so promising, why were we sitting there holding on to dear life in the second half against Newcastle? Why did that formation or system fail for Moyes, then Van Gaal, then Mourinho, then Ole, then Ten Hag? Or does tactical context only matter when it suits your argument and when it's used to defend someone like Slot against Salah? And here's the part that Carragher willfully ignores, because it destroys his narrative, right? Since Bruno went down with a hamstring injury at halftime against Villa, Man United have been operating with 5 academy kids and 1 senior starter on the bench. Against Wolves, the game that you're crying about, United brought on Lenny Yoro as the only senior player, who, by the way, is 20 years old himself, Jack Fletcher, and Bendito Montado. Why? Because we had 6 academy players on the bench. This morning against Leeds, Amorim used only 1 substitute, and that's Joshua Zirkzee. Why? Because 6 academy players were again on the bench today, and he saw how bad they were against Wolves and Newcastle, so there was no point. That isn't Ruben Amorim refusing to play good players or him not being good enough as a coach. That is incompetence in squad building that happened in the summer from Ineos, and they're showing the same incompetence in January again. So you're saying the Wolves' performance was so bad, but you're willfully ignoring all the context around it and just purely looking at, oh, they had 2 points before they came into that game and then they got their 3rd point. How many other teams have had difficulties breaking down Wolves this season, by the way? Arsenal, the team that's going for the league, needed 2 own goals to beat Wolves. Liverpool only beat them 2-1. There's several teams, if you go through their recent history since Rob Edwards got there, they have been a decent team, and they beat West Ham 3-0, by the way, managed by Nuno, who was in the top 4 race last year. So, Jamie, just please, stop. Now let's deal with the most outrageous line that Jamie used, which is he's barely competent enough to be a Premier League manager. Jamie, let me introduce you to Arne Slot. Slot inherited a ready-made Klopp team. Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk, McAllister, Gravenberch, 4 players in the PFA team of the season. Then, Liverpool went and spent £450 million on top of that squad with 4 players in the PFA team of the year. They added the second best striker in the Premier League in Isak, the best attacking midfielder to come out of Germany in a decade, the best young French striker that was available on the market, the best Premier League left back last season, who was also in the same PFA team of the season, and Jeremy Frimpong, one of the best right-sided players in the Bundesliga for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And this elite manager that you worship because he's at your club has scored 2 goals fewer than Ruben Amorim this season. He has the exact same goal difference, and he sits just 3 points ahead after 20 games as we're looking at the table today. And by the way, this same Arne Slot, who you worship, was absolutely schooled by the barely competent Ruben Amorim at Anfield. He got battered 4-1 at home to PSV in the Champions League, which is a competition that Slot likes because everybody plays the ball along the pitch, right? We don't do long balls in the Champions League. You got battered at home. He got slapped 3-0 by Nottingham Forest at home and then got slapped 3-0 by Palace at home again. But somehow the 1-1 draw against Wolves was the worst performance of the season. Jamie, I know you're here to manufacture outrage. Actually, I respect it. I would probably be doing the same thing if I was a United fan in your position and Liverpool were consistently shitting the bed. The thing that upsets me is that many United fans actually listen to you because we live in a world full of agendas. Somebody believes something, they're trying to find information that can prove them true. And you have the backing of Sky Sports and you're sitting there just talking shit the whole time. You're making it seem much worse than it is, and you're taking all of the blame that surrounds United, all of the shit that is to be passed around, and giving it all to Ruben Amorim. So, I'm here trying to speak to you, the United fan. We need to call a bullshitter and realize that we don't need to listen to him. We listen to what we see, and what I'm seeing, and what many of the people on this channel have seen, is that United have not put this manager in a position to succeed, and he has reached a breaking point, which was what we saw in the press conference today. Now let's talk about backing, because Jamie claims that Amorim has been more than backed. He says we've given him more than 200 million worth of attackers. Let me add some context, since Jamie never wants to add context when it comes to United. We let 4 attackers go in the summer: Rashford, Antony, Sancho, and Garnacho. All 4 had become toxic to the culture we were trying to build in different ways. We replaced those 4 attackers with 3 attackers and spent less than Liverpool on every single one of them. We did not get a competent goalkeeper until 6 games into the season, after Bayern had already lost us Arsenal, City, and Brentford games, which were our 3 losses after 6 games of the season. And then, cherry on top, Onana knocked us out of the League Cup as well. Amorim has received just 2 of his first-choice players in Brian Mbeumo and Matheus Cunha since he joined the club in November 2024. He wanted Gyökeres or Ollie Watkins to come in as a striker. He got Benjamin Šeško. He wanted Emi Martinez, an experienced Premier League proven goalkeeper, to come in, and he got an inexperienced Belgian league keeper, who, by the way, has been good, but we'll talk about that in a different video. He wanted an experienced left wing back like Nuno Mensch, who was ready to go, and he got Patrick Dorgu. He wanted Carlos Baleba, and he got nobody in the midfield. Ineos begged this guy to come mid-season and promised him the tools to execute the 3-4-3. They have delivered about 40% of what he's asked for. And yet, he has taken this Frankenstein monster of a squad and he's created the 3rd highest XG in the league without our best creators in the last 4 games. He has a lower XG against, because we keep talking about how bad the defense is, right? Our defense, by the underlying numbers, is better than Chelsea's and better than Aston Villa's, who are both viewed as having better seasons than us. Both those teams have overperformed defensively because of the players they have. But sure, Jamie, let's call Amorim the barely competent coach, and let's say he has been backed. Now let me be super clear and talk about the real agenda. Jamie Carragher cares about one thing. He wants to reset Man United over and over and over again so that we are never successful so long as he is alive. He wanted Mourinho gone, he wanted Ole gone, he wanted Ten Hag gone, and now he wants Amorim gone. If you're a United fan enjoying Jamie Carragher and all the other media noises shitting on Ruben Amorim because you're an Amorim outer or whatever, you need to realize that we're actually all sitting in the same toilet bowl as Ruben Amorim. And Jamie Carragher is not just shitting on him, he's shitting on all of us. And ask yourself this, why doesn't Jamie Carragher do the same nonsense when Slot is actually proving to be as incapable, if not more, than Ruben Amorim? Why is he just focusing on Salah out and all the other problems that they have, instead of just saying, Slot hasn't been good enough, he's not good enough to manage, I don't care if he won the Premier League last year, this isn't good enough, he needs to go. Why isn't he putting the same pressure when it's a much easier tap-in, guys, to say he spent 450 million. It's far more than any Premier League manager has spent in one window ever. And to have this type of a season when you should be in a title race, why hasn't Jamie Carragher come out and said any of that? Because he knows putting pressure on Slot is bad for the club. It resets the project. So we need to be smart enough and do the same shit for our manager, guys. It's as simple as that. Jamie Carragher is piling on the pressure on other clubs, on United especially, because he hates United, right? Amorim might very well get sacked in the next few days. He may not even make it to tomorrow, depending on when you guys are watching this. The I told you so merchants might be laughing at me and all the other Amorim supporters who think he's a great coach and he can actually do something once we get him the right players. But if you support this club, why on earth would you celebrate another reset when the blame is clearly to be placed above the manager, within the leadership? Guys, Jamie Carragher is going to keep talking shit about United long after Ruben Amorim is gone. He'll keep doing this to every single manager that comes in to try to get us back to the top. That doesn't bother me as much as our own fans consistently giving up on every single manager, even though we've seen how detrimental it has been to our own club and put us to where we are today. It's time to wake up and smell the coffee, guys, or we're going to sit here 30 years from now wondering how the hell did we let what happened to Liverpool happen to us. Thank you guys for watching. And if you think I made any sense at all, come on, man, drop that like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We've got some more great content coming around. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.